Hi there. My name is Dan, and if you're interested, obviously you've clicked on this channel to see my journey with weight loss and see how well I progress. I'm currently 34 years old. I'm 6'3", and I am 22 stone 6 pounds. Um, my goal is to get down to at least 18 stone and set with just muscle mass because I'm still quite a muscly guy. But as I will show you, a little bit of a chunky boy, a little bit big. Um, so the idea, obviously, with this was that I saw a more radical change in diet as a whole to that of keto. So just to see, obviously, how well I progress with that and with the journey itself, that I intend to keep it as a lifestyle change choice, like because I spent a lot of time doing research back and forth about sugars and carbs, and generally speaking, sugars aren't normally created in any natural diet. Sugar as a whole is essentially something we've made, and we've made loads of carbs and stuff, potentially more sugar. Like potatoes beforehand were smaller, they had obviously more vitamin-rich bits in it, but now they're just white starch like that, and pasta and everything else. And then there is some arguments back and forth, but there's not exactly a lot of study going on about saying the true fact that most carbs themselves are incredibly bad for you, like that of chips, potato chips, and I know they're awful for your teeth. And there's relative studies as well going on about that sugar insulin response is caused by eating carbs just in generally. And obviously there is actual causational links with tooth decay and starch and potato starch particularly, and that leading to heart attacks and other things. But uh, obviously since I turned 34, there's been a series of things kicking off in the world, and now it's probably even better that I try and lose more the weight that has plagued me for years. My heaviest I've ever actually been was 27 stone. That was a stupid amount. It was in my early 20s and I managed to lose it, but then I've always been sort of flighting between 24 stone and something else and that. But now we're currently doing quite well. I've got myself down to 20 stone, 22 stone 6 pounds. But my goal weight is 18 stone, and I do intend to carry on the journey with yourselves. Talking about what I'm eating and what I'm planning to do, and obviously my measuring obviously my waist and such, and giving you measurements, and go into more detail of what actually I'm doing, and obviously take you along on some of the walks and stuff I'm doing. Obviously I'm doing more than just walks, though I was very sitting on my bum a lot, or sedentary would be probably a good way to put it. For a good portion of my life, I worked in IT for quite some time, so you do tend to sit about on your arse. But you have a tendency to, like most people, like just you put carbs and you put biscuits, sweets, and I've always kind of been one of these people that have like one of my major flaws would probably be that it's hard to get hungry, it's hard to be full, and you'd end up eating carbs back and forth, and I was like very prone to eating high fructose syrup crisps like Doritos, chili heat wave. They're like the worst, one of the worst for you for the sugars, and there's obviously milk proteins in there, and I'm actually lactose intolerant, so that's even better. So, and also I developed some sort of illnesses pointed out where I'd eaten too much purines, and then I developed something like gout because I tried another fad diet which it was more about using shakes and things, and it was more weird chemicals put in my body, and I'm sure that sort of heightened things along the way. I was probably gonna get there because of being overweight and probably having too many sugars and drinking alcohol, which currently I've stopped. I've stopped drinking alcohol. And it's weird because in the Scottish diet you're kind of half expected to drink a lot, and normally any good celebration involves alcohol, and it's always alcohol. This and sweeties, and Christmas is one of the worst for that because obviously you're playing your booze and you're playing your bad food, and most of the food you eat at Christmas is all garbage. It's like high fat, high sugar, high stuff. But then weird enough with the keto idea that high fat's good for you, and you're using fat as your eternal fuel source, and you're eating out your fat reserves. Because weirdly enough, you're biologically not changed much since. Sorry, I was blocking my own camera now. Biologically not changed very much since your caveman era or hunter-gathering era, where if you get access to sugars, your body does what it's expected to: gain fat. It's put the fat on for survival. But what's weird is that obviously we're not hunting our food every day. We don't need to spend weeks not being fed and then everything else, and that's an interesting thing. I wasn't really up for the idea of fasting myself. More for switching over diets and trying to eat as much as appealable for myself, but while keeping it like as a sort of more controlled keto. And so yeah, like obviously there is obviously a bit of a challenge to go. I'm not obviously as fit as I prefer because I also have additional problems like I have damaged my left leg. My tendon was torn when I was like 31, and that's obviously shorter than the other one, so running's out. And then obviously I managed to, like a year or two after that, managed to smash my knee on concrete, which is great. It was alcohol red. So, you know, that's obviously been plaguing me. And that got re-hurt in the beginning of January, which was a bit shit, to be honest. And obviously for 2020, the year has been a bit meh. But, you know, obviously realistically what's kicking about in the background, for general health, I should lose weight. Because it may or may not be exactly a contributing factor of how well or how sick I get. And yeah, I decided what obviously spawned this the most was we took a blood test, me and my partner, from a website online, and they tested all your bloods and everything else, and it said that I had a little bit of a lipid problem. Lipids were a bit high, but obviously that's because I'm overweight. So when looking at the lipid function thing, it more pointed out that there's something called fatty liver syndrome. And it's kind of something similar, say, if you were drinking alcohol at the time, like alcoholic liver syndrome. But it's because of being too overweight. It's causing problems there. So I was sitting there going, well, give me a bit of frighteners. But obviously, I didn't have, my cholesterol wasn't bad at all. And hormone function's all fine. It's just obviously vitamin D deficiency, and I've all had lockdown back and forth. So, you know, I wasn't really getting much vitamin D there. But obviously, I've increased my walks and I'm managing to get out and about. So at one point or another, you might see me on a walk. I might take you with me for one of the exciting wanders around. And maybe a bit more with seeing them doing more exercise. Because obviously, I've started doing resistance exercise with weights. Again, obviously, the ones I had in the house that I was using for a series of time already were too light. And I managed to get some other ones. Obviously don't limited space because I'm in a flat, so don't really have that full access to a gym, and gyms aren't open at the moment. So, so yeah, just around generally for that and health. There's obviously increasing exercise. I've just also had a phone interview with the physio, and they're going to give me a series of knee exercises. I'm going to go into details of that. Obviously, I will post about what I'm actually doing for weightlifting as well, like. What exercises I'm doing back and forth with availability of weights, which I have is minimal, so you know, so it'll be realistic exercises and realistic goals. But like my actual goal, and if you feel to follow on, like and subscribe, is to get eventually to 18 stone of just pure body weight muscle mass, fat being near minimal. I think what was it? My current body fat percentage, which I managed to get from my fancy scales, which involved a little bit extra cash, was like 33% body fat, or something along those lines. It might have changed a little bit, obviously, because the last time I checked that I was heavier. But like I said before, I'm 22 stone 6, and I do intend to get that down to 18 stone of solid muscle mass, and maybe lighter if need be, but more than 18 stone of solid muscle mass. That's what I want to do, because I'm 6'3". It doesn't actually take me much to build muscle mass. It's just I've had a really big issue trying to get like the flab that's over on top of it. And realistically for my joints, because I've got a bad knee, I need to get thinner. I need to get thinner. I need to get muscular. But, you know, I need to not over push myself, but not underwhelm myself. And I need to be realistic as well, because obviously anyone in one of these sort of lifestyle changing videos or thing, you need to be realistic with your goals. You can't just go, well, that's going to change my body all overnight. Like, no, it doesn't. And I don't really prescribe to the idea of anyone that sort of goes, yes, it'll solve all my problems. No, it won't, but it'll, seriously help me, and my day-to-day life will be easier if I obviously lose weight. And that is a struggle, because as soon as you gain the weight, it's so easy to gain the weight. You have like a takeaway here, takeaway there, alcohol, sweeties, just a few bad days, and it gets too quick, too heavy, too hard to get rid of. And that's obviously most people out there trying to lose weight. You fail until you realistically get yourself in the idea and the headset that you will. That's what you're doing. That's what it is. There's no change. There's no cheat days. None of this. Oh, I'll have a massive carb meal or whatnot. Because you'll make yourself sicker. Particularly if you go on keto. That's how the idea of keto flu and all that jazz, where you jump from just eating fats and meats and and vegetables for fiber to eating hard carbs. Having a pizza, you feel fucking awful. So I don't really want to be doing anything like that. So carbs are the enemy. Carbs will no longer be tolerated. They will be considered deadly. Because they kind of are. I mean, they're nice, but you got to be realistic. You got to be aware. Because, like, bread is not something that normally was handed out everywhere. I mean, it's more something that people made because they had nothing else to eat. But there's so many other options. There's like so many things you can have, and meats and fats, and without cheating and being silly with keto and having alcohol or wine or anything like that. I'm not going to do anything silly like that. Pretty much that's no alcohol zone in this house. No alcohol zone for particularly me as well. None of my partner really drinks either. So it's not like we're missing out on a change of social atmosphere because we're just not bothering to do it. And I think for overall health, that's great. I could easily stick to it. I don't really think the giving up drinking is going to bother me. Giving up the convenience of like several different carbs, like crisps and sweets and stuff, might be a little bit more annoying. But I could see myself doing it before. I've done it before, for a short period of time when I was younger. But then, what might be a good idea? It's a lifetime change. It's got to be a change. It's got to be a whole lifelong career thing. It's not something you can dip in and out of. Anyway, so yeah, that's gonna wrap up the first video. If you obviously like what you're seeing, feel free to like and subscribe. And that's me, Dan, signing out. Bye for now.